Kevin Haig.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I like to begin second reading calls by giving my thanks to the Select Committee staff, the Ministry officials, some of whom are here in the chamber today, and to the submitters who made contributions on the bill, all of whom I think made the bill better, and give my praise also to members of the Select Committee. I stood down from the committee for this item of business, but it seems to me that the bill is considerably improved from their efforts. Mr Speaker, the health sector probably has overall a staff that is more female than male. Many of the health occupations are ones that are typically carried out by women, and therefore it's a sector that is particularly beset by the problems of pay inequity. In other words, when occupations that are predominantly filled by women are systemically paid at a lower level than those with equivalent value work to those filled by men. And Mr Speaker, the aged care workers, both in residential care and providing home-based support, have long been recognised as particular occupations where this is the case, where typically women carrying out that work have been underpaid. Other speakers in this House today have already mentioned the contribution of Judy McGregor and her fantastic report, Caring Counts, and I think I see other members nodding, and I note that this whole House probably appreciates the work that she put into that. I also want to acknowledge the work that Sue Kedgley and Winnie Laban put into a joint report from the Labour and Green parties looking at some of these systemic issues in the aged care sector, which also acknowledged this issue of travel times. Judy McGregor noted that the practice of not paying for travel time was both unjust and disrespectful of the workers carrying out this incredibly important work, as Barbara Kura has just mentioned also. And she said, what does it say about our, as a society, our valuing of older people if we treat those who are providing these basic services for older people so disrespectfully? And paying properly for travel time is not only a question of being just towards the workers involved in that sector, but also of ensuring that the services themselves are viable and respectful for older people. As members know, I live on the West Coast, and I can see around the chamber a number of other members from rural areas. Maureen Pugh, also from the West Coast. Welcome, Maureen. And the simple fact is the distances to travel between houses, between clients, that workers sometimes need to incorporate into their day. If those travel times are not paid for, the worker cannot possibly afford to provide that service. And the viability of the service itself is brought into question if these workers are not properly paid for. I want to just briefly, in finishing, note my appreciation of the role played by the unions, but also, in fact, by the employers here, who came to the committee and supported this deal. And that contrasts so starkly to the behaviour of rest home employers when I, as a DHB chief executive, had gone to the then Minister of Health to get extra money to pay increased wages to rest home staff members. And the Minister approved it, DHBs approved it, and then the rest homes kept it for their bottom line rather than paying the workers. So it's great to see these home-based support organisations actually contributing to this deal. And isn't it great, Mr. Speaker, to actually make a decision through negotiation and consensus? Let's do a bit more of that, eh?